right, so I'm sitting here with Jeron Moore, who is the is it producer or executive producer? What are you?
My official title is producer and lead creative. So
That sounds very good. What do you do?
well, basically, I show up on show site prior to the show and just make sure, it's in terms of a quality assurance perspective, that everything rolls out the way it's supposed to. Am always on hand to assist and make sure that our conductor is well taken care of, that the video crew is doing what they need to do, and we have a very well-oiled machine. Our entire crew does a great job. So I find myself being able just to kind of enjoy these trips, a little bit more. But in terms of the front loading of the job, that really came in creating the narrative for the show and building all the concepts and sort of the high level outline for what it was that unfolds on the stage. And then I worked very closely with Chad Sider, our music director, and then the two of us with Nintendo, Koji Kondo, Ijionuma.
Yeah. So you talked about briefly on the stage, like how you kind of started, how you kind of came up with this idea. Like I think for a lot of people, it's difficult to imagine, like, oh hey, yeah, I have an idea. Let's start a Zelda orchestra and get it approved by Nintendo. That'll be super easy. How do you go about it?
Well, I've worked with executive producer Jason Michael Paul for many years, and with that, I had some experience as a producer on another show that he created called Play, a Video Game Symphony.
Right.
And on that show, I was brought in kind of midway through to actually refresh the show and kind of breathe some new life into it with new content and kind of restructure things a bit.
Yeah.
And toward the end of that, I really been itching to A, do my own show, and B, do one about Zelda.
Right.
It just, it really got on my nerves seeing a Final Fantasy show, seeing a Lord of the Rings show, seeing all these entities, entertainment franchises getting a limelight,
right?
In the orchestral stage, and Zelda just was sort of still dangling out there.
So why Zelda? Like, what's special about Zelda?
What isn't special about Zelda? It's a time. It's really stood the test of time with gamers. I don't know another franchise that. I mean, sure, Final Fantasy fans they love their Final Fantasy, but in terms of consistency and really threading a needle from game to game to game, and building this huge world that is interconnected. Zelda hits the nail on the head. And
no offense, Final Fantasy fans.
I love my Final Fantasy, but and along with that, Uematsu-san has done a wonderful job with the music that he contributed to the Final Fantasy franchise, as well as the other composers that have contributed. But Koji Kondo has done a really remarkable job, kind of bringing the idea of the motif into the world of Zelda, and carrying over these character themes and these melodic ideas from game to game. And they persist, and it does something magical when people are listening to this music and playing these games. They pick up, whether they realize it or not, they're picking up psychologically on different messages. And Koji Kondo has said that the most important thing about the music in the Zelda games is to associate them with memories.
I think that definitely works because I know that me personally, and I think a lot of other people, just go about their day, walking to the store or something, and I can find myself like humming like a Zelda tune, and I'm like, wait, what is that? Why am I humming this? And then I think about it, and I was like, oh, that was, from that moment in that game, that was really awesome. Okay, that's on my head. That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. And what makes a show like this really special is it allows all the people that are just so enthusiastic about this franchise, including myself, to get to come under one roof and celebrate, this very thing that we love. So
definitely,
I think that's special.
And so you've been, I guess I can just tell you like just a very short personal story. Like I actually just started playing the ocarina a bit after the 25th anniversary Symphony. Because, as you might remember, it was here in London, the people who got a VIP ticket, they got this little plastic ocarinas.
Right.
Because of the, Ocarina of Time 3D.
Yeah.
And I was just like playing it a bit, and I was like, okay, I want to play the Song of Time, and I tried it. After a couple tries, I go, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. It wasn't as difficult as I thought it'd be, and then I thought, you know what, I can express kind of myself through this kind of musical instrument more so than with words in some regards. So, and I actually, purchased like a real ocarina and started playing a bit. Like I'm not good or anything, but still,
You're probably better than me.
But it's really something that I think a lot of people come here as Zelda fans, but some of them, when they leave, actually, get an eye for just music in general. And that's maybe something that they did not realize about themselves.
And that's really special for us on the staff, seeing that happen, because we all have a passion for orchestral music, and grew up listening to film scores, and of course, like you guys, have our favorite games and love video game music, and we all have similar experiences, and Symphony of the Goddesses really was an opportunity to sort of bring all the things that we loved about the music from Zelda into a context that was sort of greater than the whole, and it's cool to introduce the orchestra to an audience that might not otherwise come see one, and it's not that it just may not appeal to them, the thought of going to see an orchestra normally, which is sad, because if they went, even if somehow they were encouraged to go and they went, they'd probably discover something equally as amazing. Yeah. But the first step is getting them in the seat, and if Zelda is a way to do that, I think it's wonderful.
The European tour is a bit shorter than the American tour, so to speak. Like, do you think you have more of an audience in America, or is it more that for convenience purposes?
But what's been your favourite game? Was there a game that really lifted it for you?
What do you think of the upcoming A Link to the Past 2?
So that section you cut out.
There's this intermission brought to you.
Yeah.